everybody? Welcome to Cobcast, where I tell you a different story every month or so, whenever I feel like doing it. Right now, I'm going to try to put out 2 a month, but I got my trusty barrel that I like sitting on for these videos. And today's video is going to be a continuation of my last video. And I still have other videos that I want to do continuations on, but right now I just feel like it's the prime time to do exactly what I want to do in this video, which is explaining a little bit more of some of the trapping stuff, because I did not hit all the points that I really wanted to on the last one, but it's still, like, it's informational, and also it's pretty interesting because I have something really cool to show you, and it's something that I've actually never seen before, and something that I have no experience with. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be awesome. I want to do a little bit of background more of just what I did before is raccoons and coyotes. So one of my favorites are skunks. And skunks can be really pretty, and they make really nice hats too. The more white on a skunk, the more valuable the fur is. And this is another home tan. Almost all of these are. I think I only have 1 or 2 that somebody gave me. Yeah, the coyote face and the bobcat face are the only ones up here that actually were tanned in a tannery, where they tumble them in a big machine, and when you do it yourself, they could be crunchy. You can stretch them out. I'm going to walk you through a little bit about how I do it, and I'm going to use a raccoon as an example. So, you get a board. I cut it down, kind of shaped it, kind of looks like a surfboard. And as you can see, the animal slides over it. But you don't do it fur out. When you skin your animal, what you do, it's inside out, and you use the nose, put it on there like that, and you pull it down it, and you use what's called a fleshing knife. So that's a skinned animal. Oh, Gibbles is so happy to see this skunk, aren't you? Let me hang that back up, and I'm going to show you what I do. Once you've already had the animal skinned, you just have the fur, but there's a whole lot of fat on the skin. So since it's turned inside out, I have this board rounded more on one edge. I made this was an old lawnmower blade, I believe. Cut it, pinned it into some handles, and shaped it the way I wanted with a grinder. And it's sharp on one side. The other side is a flat, like a real flat grind for pushing. So as you can see, I'm putting it on my stomach, and I have a couple different stands for different sized boards. And basically what you do is you lean into it. You start scraping the fat once you get it moving a little bit. Then you use this to, I don't want to tear up my board. Basically, you use this to push all the fat off. And once you get everything worked down, and you kind of get it, in the armpits, the little armies of the animal, work that out. But making one of these, if you make it yourself, like, you could buy these online, but if you make it the way you want it, I've tried a couple different ones, and I gave them to people because this is my go-to. You never have to wash it, because it always has a little bit of oil on it, a little bit of grease, because you're using it to flesh animals. And the same one with the boards. These boards will last you a really long time, as long as you're not, cutting into them. And you can see there's a couple times where I nicked it and stuff, but the whole point is to press the fat off and then not cut the fur. And I can show you an example actually of what happens when there's already a pre-existing issue. So this raccoon got shot with a 12 gauge. And this is what you're trying to clean up. This is what you want to get all the fat off of so you can tan. That's why it doesn't smell. That's why it is the way it is. And you can sit here and fold it and soften it up, but this got shot through here. And what happened was when you're skinning, it just popped holes. Well, these were the ears. Those were the eyes, obviously. But it just popped a gigantic hole right there because this arm was up here. That wasn't where that was not where the original arm was. So, and it caused a lot of damage to it. So this one is a good use for making a hat because all the rest of this is still usable. So, you know, draw it out, make it into a hat. Don't I look cool? Anywho, there's a whole lot of things that really can go into major detail, and now I'm having a hard time hanging that up. It doesn't matter. Let cats play with. One of the things I didn't hit on the last video was the different types of foothold traps. I showed the dogless, and that's one of my favorites. This is a dogless. This was one that had been in the ground just recently, pulled up. Normally, these do not come out of the ground. These are made to stay when you're into your trapping season. You cut your cable because these don't pull up. This one had an issue; it was in too wet of ground, so took it out. But there's two differences I want to show, and my cat is loving cuddling with this raccoon right now. With this type, I wore boots this time, so I could demonstrate this a lot easier. This type of trap, I say easier, and I'm still struggling. I swear it's easier to do in the dirt. I'm going to move that over. I'm going to set this round jaw. I'm going to show you the difference. This I might be able to do by hand. Most of the time in the field, I do it by hand. Let's see. Pull that, push that, hold that. Move your hand the hell out of the way. Okay. So, square jaw, round jaw. This dogless has the night latch already built into it, and I'll show you why. These you have to file. See if I can get it into night latch because it's been sitting. Yep, there we go. So what night latch does is it makes it to where the trap sits as flat as freaking possible. And these are safe to hold and safe to set off. I'll show you why. But night latch is to get this thing to bed into the ground as like minimal digging, minimal distance it has to snap to come up and grab. But the reason I like these bridgers, the whole pan is the trigger. It has can't really see it, but the end of the pan right here is actually what holds on to the paddles, or not the paddles, but the bales. And then on this, you have this rod that comes over and hooks up to the pad that they get stepped on. And that's why this one I had to file it to night latch it to get it to sit that flat. And you have to actually pull that over and set it. And then when you're bedding these in the ground, I'm trying to think of the easiest way to say it. These are pretty much foolproof. You get these set, you get it down on the ground, you're good to go. Gibbles, stop attacking my raccoon. I'm going to set these off and show you. But I think these are both open jaw. But one's round, one's square jaw. This is a Duke number 2, I believe. Duke number 2 or Duke number 3. But in reality, I know one looks bigger, but this opens up just as much as this does. Let me get this cat off of here, and I want to show you something really interesting. Not this. And she was playing with the tail. It's fine. She's a cat. And it's funny though. Oh, that's why it wouldn't hang up. It's because the tail got pushed through. It's funny though. I got all these hanging on the wall, and they usually don't mess with them. They pretty much know better. Before I get into some of the more interesting stuff, I want to show an example of a trap that this is a Duke number 2. So yeah, that's a Duke number 3, the bigger one. And it has the same thing. It has the flip bail. And I can almost certainly, and this is an open jaw. I only have one closed jaw anymore, as far as I know. Well, maybe I can't do it up in the air. I could probably do it on my lap. Nope, we're going to do it on the ground. But this is an example of a trap that has been waxed. And I did not night latch this one. I don't think I really use this trap that much. But if you compare it, so this one's been waxed too, but it hasn't been, I think it's only been buried once. This is one that needs re-dyed and waxed. But when you cook them in walnut dye, it gives them a nice stain. It takes the oils and the smells off of it. But when you dunk them in the wax, you got to melt the wax with water. That way when you pull it back through the container, the water leaves the excess wax. But this thing is lubricated, technically, and it won't hold much for smell. Like I said, they all have a tab, but that is a wax trap, and you can see the difference. Even with one that's only been buried once, you can see it looks clean, and it's not oiled. Promise you that. They all got tags, they all got swivels. When it comes to underwater traps, which is one of the things I'm going to come up to next, after this. Underwater traps, waxing, yeah, good. Doing the dye doesn't really matter, but I guess it's preference. If you're going to do it to your traps, do it to all your traps. These are one of the more old school type springs. This one's missing a piece, and I would really like to grab an example. I don't want to go out to my shed and dig, but this is a different type of spring than what used to be what is most common nowadays with these coil springs. Used to have these flat springs, and it basically does the same thing. However, it works on the function of when this closes like that, it pushes the jaws closed, and this actually usually rises up. This one's, I dug it out of the river. This is kind of just a wall hanger. It's kind of more of an example, but if you think about it, when it's spread out like that and their leg is in it right here, say I set for muskrat, and my paw is this big. Well, when you get caught in it, the more you wiggle, the more this moves up. And it might not be a very strong spring, but catches you on the knuckle, and then this will work its way. The more you fight it, it will work its way up like that, and then it's just going to get tighter and tighter. But it doesn't hurt him. Like, it doesn't hurt. It's just it snags you to the point to where you can't get out. But this is a neat one, just because of the fact that I found it. It's missing the whole pan and everything. River find. There's definitely more I need to cover, but I really, really want to show you this thing. I'm going to take my hat off because this thing is hard to set. I'm going to show you before I set it. I'm almost certain I know what this is for, but it doesn't have a name on it. But I have a pretty good guess of what this is for. It is a tandem trap. Now, it sets the pan right here, but it also has this bail. Why does it have the bail? Because it has this. Why does it have that? Because this is a two-part trap. This thing is wild. So you open this up. There's really nowhere to put anything or to do anything. I'm going to set this on the floor because, well, maybe on my leg. I'll see. I don't know if you can see me in camera, but this thing is tricky. Put that on the pan if you can. This thing is weird. I'm pretty sure it's for beaver, but I want to show you why I think that as soon as I set it. It's not a dangerous trap. And here's the other part. When I pull this bail back, so I got this piece set, and I can do this. I can push this out of my way, so that cannot snap me in the hand. So I can reach underneath, pull this down. See, like I said, it can't snap me. Pull this. Oh, okay, look, we're learning together. This bail goes under that. And it still can't snap me like this. So now I pull this down, which I wonder if there's like a specific way to do this, because I've never really seen one like this before. There we go, not too bad. Alright, so yeah, we got this. Pull that down. Now everything where my thumb is, everything underneath is safe. So we have spring pressure going from here to here and here to here. Well, here to here. So when this, I remember now. I remember from playing with it. That's your safety. Okay. Learning together. Okay, so when it's on that hook, that is in the safety, so this won't snap. Put that there. And now when something sets off this pan, it's going to snap all the way from over here to over here and here to here. And I'll show you. So this came all the way over, closed on that, and closed this. That's why I think it's for beaver, because it captures at multiple points. Let me try that again. Sometimes I feel like a weakling when I'm working with dirty traps. Alright, safety hook on that. Nice and simple. Now, pull this one back. Set that pan. Nice and simple. Close that. Lower that. There we go. Now, it could use the pan adjusted a little bit, clearly. But we'll set it off again and see if we can get a good view of how that thing snaps. Oop, I forgot to take the safety off of that. See, like I said, we're learning as we go. I've never used this thing. It was just so cool when I got it and found it in an old barn. So we'll set that. Take that over here. Alright, here we go. So my thought is this is supposed to snag the leg, and this is like a secondary. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't have a name on it. It's not homemade, but I wanted to share that with you guys. Never seen one before. I mean, I've seen plenty of these. These are old school. This is definitely old school. This is really cool. But like I said in my last video, none of these traps are really made to like hurt anything. It doesn't break legs. It grabs you, holds you. Not you, but you know what I mean. It just grabs you and fucking can't go nowhere until you come and get dispatched. And that's all there really is to it. Also, I'm pretty sure for all of United States teeth jaws, like when people think of traps like this with like saw blade type teeth on them, completely illegal. Nobody uses those. I mean, that's pretty bad. And also, if you want to try to keep the animal and, you know, make them bleed out when you're going to come and dispatch them and they're already dead and stiff, like it doesn't work like that. These are just made to hold. That's pretty much it. And really, around here, I mean, skunks, raccoons, I don't kill possum, beaver, muskrat, let's see what else, fox. That's about what we get around here, and that's really all I go for is those few things. But I mean, for the most part, it's pretty slow. If you don't set a lot of traps, you don't catch a lot of stuff. So if you're kind of busy during the time of trapping season, then don't set a lot of traps. Right now I have one trap. Last few years, I'd have 15, 20 traps out in one section, down by the river or down in an area where I'm permitted to trap. Doesn't matter if you're licensed or not, you have to have permission to trap on that land. So there's always that. But I wanted to get all that off my chest, and maybe I'll talk more about skinning and fleshing and tanning. Tanning is a pretty big one. It's a little bit tricky. It's kind of sucks to do, but once you get to the tanning portion, you're in the home stretch. That's the hard part is already done. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I'm so glad that I could spew out all of my thoughts to you, and I appreciate you so much.